Today I'm testing out the PT18Pro from Brinyte as a weapon light. I think you might want to stick around as this is the lineup that I'll be shooting today. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Quentin the Gun Guide. Today, as stated, I'm checking out the PT18Pro as a weapon light. Did you hear that I said not a weapon mounted light but a weapon light? So why I said that is because I used it with the Glock first, or the pistol, whatever handgun you want to use it as. I used this as a low light. As you can see, it's clear and safe. I use this as a low light illumination device. So firstly, I'll put in some footage of where I shot this with this. So firstly, I use this off with the ring attachment. So as you can see, it was quite comfortable for me to maintain control with the firearm like that. That's the way that I used it. So you can use the I think it's called the surefire method, where you push the button with your palm of your hand. So pushing it with the palm of hand, and I can activate the button to illuminate my target. So that was the first test that I did, was with this grip ring attached. Then the second time I did it was without it, because as stated in the previous review, where I just reviewed this as a tactical flashlight. If you haven't seen that yet, just check it out. The link should be popping up on the top of the screen. So the second time I used this without this little ring. I used this just as a normal flashlight, or as an attachment to the other weapons. You can use that as well. What's nice is that you have this little tactical ring here, which gives you quite a lot of grip to be able to grip it with your fingers. And then same thing applies again. You can just push it with the palm of your hand. As you can see, it passed that test with flying colors. So whenever you use a flashlight as a weapon mounted light, you want to look out for a couple of things. You want to see that the mount is actually holding the flashlight, that the flashlight is controllable whilst you're utilizing it, that you don't press it accidentally, because in a low light scenario, as soon as anyone sees white light, they are going to start shooting at that white light. So you want the element of surprise. You want to keep this off until you want to use it. So when this comes on, you better be shooting. Another thing, and probably the most important one, is that you want to look out for flickering. So with a flashlight, whenever it takes recoil as your firearm moves, it's probably going to take a beating internally. So what happens is, as it takes a beating, the buttons might start giving in, or the internals, anything like that, is going to start flickering. So you might get not a solid beam anymore, but a beam that works intermittently as it takes recoil. So with this light, I use the strobe function, and I use the permanent on button function, but you'll see that in the videos, and I'll explain it to you. So let's start off with the tests as a weapon mounted light. So as stated previously, this goes for 3,299 Rand on Torch SA's website. And then the mounting, this is a magnetic mounting. So this mounting accommodates your PT18Pro quite comfortably. It attaches with a screw that you can either finger tighten, or it does have space for a screwdriver, a flathead, to be able to tighten it nicely. So I use this as a finger tighten, and I didn't get movement whatsoever. So this goes for 699 Rand on Torch SA's website. So just as a disclaimer, Torch SA send me all of these things that I'll be reviewing today: flashlight, mounts, and then the pressure switch. So what I did first is I used a hunting rifle. This is a low recoil hunting rifle. It uses a 222 round, 222 Remington, which is very low recoil. So I attached it here, there, so you can still activate it with your finger. So firearm is clear and safe, bolt open, magazine is out. So you'll see on the video, I'll put it in now, that there was basically no movement on the mounting, so it accommodated the recoil quite easily. So I can still, wherever you want it, maybe slightly forward, maybe slightly back, I can reach the button quite easily, push it, and then engage my firearm. Quite easy. As you can see from the video, both the flashlight and the mount passed the test with flying colors. That was actually quite nice, and I was able to pick up the target quite easily. As you saw, that it wasn't in complete darkness like with my previous video that I did testing out the Trustfire 4-torch SA. I wanted you to see, you can still see the beam, but I wanted you to see that I am using different platforms for testing this out. So it passed the 222 test. Next up, I'm going to test it out with my 260 Remington with the pressure switch. So this is nice. That just screws onto your flashlight as is. So you screw off the switch cap, and then this just screws on like that. So super easy. This goes for 399 Rand. This has 2 buttons, as you can see here. So pressing the rear button is going to activate the strobe function. Pressing the front button is going to activate the permanent on. So you still have the functionality of your normal buttons, but now just in a pressure switch configuration. It has Velcro in the back, so it has a piece of double-sided tape that you can attach to your firearm, which I did. This is my 260 Remington. This is my competition rifle. Bolt open, magazine out, so this firearm is safe. So what I did is I attached it to the side here. So I attached it with press stick for now because I don't want to use this with this rifle. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense because this is my competition shooting rifle. So whenever you attach something to your barrel like this, your point of impact is going to be different. So whenever you touch your barrel should always be free floating, especially in long rifles. So with the exception of a very small amount, or whatever your rifle configuration is, but usually you want your whole barrel from the chamber forward, you want it to be free floated. So I don't really want to use this on this rifle because it is my competition shooting rifle. So you can do that, but you just need to sight it in that way. So I move this all the way forward. So this gives you a controllability for the flashlight without actuating the buttons. So you can just keep your hand where it is comfortable like that, as you'll see in the video as well. So the first shot that I took, I pressed the rear button, activating the strobe function, and then I took a shot, and then the forward button was next, and then I took my shot. So actuated and then strobe function. Let's check it out. As you saw with that test, the mounting and the flashlight passed with flying colors with the addition of the pressure switch. So everything worked perfectly fine. I was very happy with those results. No flickering whatsoever. So next up is the AR platform. This is a 223 Remington or 5.56 NATO, whatever you want to call it, or whatever rounds that you're running through it. So this is the Picatinny mount for the Brinyte PT18Pro. So the serial number on this is the BRM24. BRM24, that goes for 249 Rand, and this is by far the most solid mount that I've tested up till now. Nice thing about this is it gives me the option to actuate the buttons as I normally would in the tactical flashlight scenario. So what I did is I actuated the strobe function first, took a shot, and then I moved on to the permanent on button and then fired 5 rounds. So this is a super solid system. So you can tighten this with your hand. It attaches to your Picatinny mount that I've got on here, and then after that you can attach your flashlight to it with 4 Allen screws. So this makes for a very solid mount, and it's very user friendly. So you can take it off quite easily, as you saw just now, but you can tighten it with a spanner as well to make sure that it is going to stay on there. Okay, so before someone loses their mind, this firearm is safe. There's no magazine inside and the bolt is open. There's a gap there. So as you saw, it passed the test with the AR with flying colors again. So I can't imagine it failing a test just yet. So I can't imagine this failing a test just yet either. Pressure switch, neither. But I want to test the limit of the flashlight and of the magnetic mount. So what I saw is that the mount holds on quite tightly. It can take recoil up until 260 Remington that I tested with 0 movement. But as you press it, as I saw when I tested, and you probably saw at the beginning of the video as well, that when I press it, there is some movement slightly forward. Because this button is a very solid button, you need to press it quite hard to actuate it, and that actually causes some movement in this. So I saw that on the shooting range as well. So I wanted to test it properly, and then I brought out the shotgun, the grandfather shotgun. This is an old single shot shotgun. This is a breakneck action. As you can see, the firearm is safe. So I wanted to test the limits for the flashlight and for the mount, because I can't really have a conclusive test until I've seen a failure. So I really wanted to see a failure on this, which actually happened. So I was quite happy with that result. Not happy because of the failure, but happy to see that everything isn't perfect. If I just stand here and then sing to the glory of this flashlight, then there's a certain point of disbelief that I create with my viewers. So I want to be honest with you, and I want you to not waste your money on anything. So with a shotgun, the recoil is going to be hectic. So with this, I attached it here, and then as you'll see on the video, that I reached a failure point. Not on the flashlight, as you will see on the video as well. The flashlight didn't fail, but the mounting did. The recoil was a bit too much. And what actually happened is that it moved back straight against the stock, and as it took the recoil, it actually came off, but then flicked back again. As you'll see on the second shot, it didn't flick back again. So I was very happy, as stated, to see something go wrong, but the flashlight didn't. So what I do recommend is when you use a magnetic mount, you want to attach it to something that recoils less than a shotgun, because you don't want it to move around. And when you do use it on a rifle, anything smaller than a shotgun or maybe a 30 caliber, then it should be safe and it should be easily able to maintain that position and not be influenced by the recoil. So as I stated, I tested it up until a 260 Remington, which is a varminting cartridge. So you should be able to do your varminting with it quite easily. With this flashlight, I can imagine at night probably shooting pest animal or something like that, or with something smaller like your 222, 223, .22, anything that causes a damage or a nuisance to your farm. So as stated, the flashlight did not fail, what the mounting did. Absolutely love doing this video. Whenever I can work on YouTube's nerves, shooting, displaying weapons, or reviewing anything, then I'm very happy. If I can go to the range, then I'm super happy as well. Combining those two things, reviews, working on YouTube's nerves, that's absolutely awesome for me. So, few thoughts. Thoughts on the flashlight. The flashlight performed exceptionally as I expected from my previous review. This thing is ridiculously good, and I think it's a brilliant investment if you want to get something that's absolutely badass and then looks the part as well. So, getting to the tactical thing, which is going to trigger a few people again. Being a flashlight, I want access to a strobe function and to maximum amount of lumens like this, which this gives me the option to. I've got a button that you want to press accidentally for the strobe function, disorientating a attacker, or I can just hit them with the 2000 lumens, illuminating my target and engaging that target with confidence, as you've seen in the previous review as well. This has an insane hotspot with that 32,000 candelas, which is cornea burningly bright. So this part's with flying colors. Thoughts on the mount. So let's get to the first mount first. So Picatinny one. I actually quite enjoy this. This I think is absolutely solid. It isn't going to let you down, and this is going to stay on my AR permanently now. This is going to be my new flashlight for my AR, and it is replacing the GM23 as my AR weapon light, because this is super solid. This gives insane candelas, and it gives me access to 2000 lumens, which is insane, and then the strobe function. It gives me options as well. So if I want to mount it and then move the pressure switch back, maybe to hold it on the mag for CQB work, then I've got that option. Getting to the other mounts meaning the magnetic mount. I think this is actually a very clever mount. It has a protective inner or liner on the inside, so this is going to stop you from scratching up your flashlight. So it has a bit of a cushion, a bit of a rubbery thing on both sides for the cover and for the bottom piece. So this isn't going to scratch up your flashlight. So this is actually quite clever. So your thoughts on, well, because it failed, it's probably not a strong magnet. This is actually a super strong magnet. So remember, recoil is a bit of a different force. This is a instant force, and on a shotgun it's a bit of an angry force as well. So if I take this mount and I attach it to the shotgun, I can hold it like this just on the magnetic power of this mount. How crazy is that? Holding up this shotgun with this mount. So very, very nice. Getting to the pressure switch next. I think that's a good investment as well. If you want to control your flashlight from a further distance, if you're mounting it further forward, because remember, the more forward you can get it on your weapon, the less of a shadow it's going to create. So whenever you mount your flashlight further back, is going to create a shadow caused by the barrel. So moving it more forward, having a pressure switch as an option here, is going to eliminate that shadow. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you want one of these things from Torch SA that I showed you today, I've got a discount code down in the description, discount code and a discount link. So if you do that, you're going to get less 10 off anything that you buy from Torch SA. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the lineup. If I did something that you do not agree with testing wise, please hit me down in the comment section. I always want to improve my testing ability, but this is what I thought of, and whatever I want to use it as a vomiting light or a defensive light as stated in my AR and my pistol application. So as always, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate every like, every subscribe. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers.